Welcome back, everyone. I got in a pair of backup iron sights a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to make a video on them because I've been very impressed with them, especially for what they cost. I pretty much always run backup iron sights on my rifles, even if it's something where they're completely out of position, you can't flip them up and use them with the optic you have on there. I always feel like you can, if your optic fails, battery dies, whatever, I feel like you can get that optic off of there. In the case of like a Neotech, it's really easy. There's a quick detach. I can just quick flip this and it comes off right away. If my backup batteries are not in the rifle or anything like that, or just the optic fails, I can quick get that optic out of there and quick flip up my iron sights. So I'm a big advocate for always having iron sights on a gun. That being said, you spend a lot of money on these firearms, and you can spend a grand, $800, whatever, on a rifle, pistol in this case, and spend another $600-700 on an optic, throw $100 in a LaRue trigger, things like that. You know, $150-200 on a brace. Sad excuse for a stock that is more expensive, for a different name. And by the time you get to something like your backup iron sights that you probably are not going to use very often, you should train with them. I've actually been surprised by the amount of people that don't know how to use traditional iron sights, whether it be some kind of U-notch sight or peep sight on a rifle, whatever it may be. You really should train with them. So that being said, I find it difficult to go drop $150, $200, $250, $300 on a pair of backup iron sights, whether they're fixed or they're flip-up iron sights, things like that. I personally find that difficult to do for something that, in reality is a backup to what I'm mainly going to be using, which is going to be your optic. So these are the UTG Pro Slims, I believe, and they are very solid. I'm going to try to keep the front and back in view here, but this will be a little tricky, so just bear with me. So first thing I will say is when super easy to mount, obviously 1913 typical stuff there, but they are actually very streamlined. Especially in the back, obviously with everything else, you really don't even notice it. I've got it pretty far back on the rail here. Obviously the front, you notice it a little more, just because there's nothing else up here at the moment. I don't have my light on here right now, and they are very, very streamlined. They are very solid. They're very well made. When they are down, there's no movement in them. Of course, I can move it forward and up, or up and down. You know what I mean. But there's no lateral movement in it. In the hinge, there's no movement. Very solid. Now, the big thing that some people don't like is, a lot of people really like to have mostly made in the U.S. components if you're in the United States. People like that. I totally get that. I understand not wanting to have things made, in China for the most part, in other countries. I personally don't have an issue with it most of the time, but I understand the appeal of having American-made components on your AR-15 or whatever it may be, or German-made, wherever the rifle or firearm is from. If it's a German gun, it's kind of cool to have German components on it. If it's a Italian gun, it's kind of cool to have all that stuff. Same with an American gun. So without delving into that too much, these are not made in China, unlike a lot of, there's a lot of off-brand, Amazon brand that I would call them, uh, iron sights, flip-up iron sights that you can find, and they are made in China, and I've used a few of them, and they're worth the $20 or $30 you pay for the set. These will run you about $50 to $60 for the set. They're about 25 to 30-ish, somewhere in there. So you're looking, at most $60 for the set of backup iron sights, and they are well worth it. So they're not spring loaded, which I like, but there are some solid detents. So, and when it's locked into place, obviously, you can move it front to back a little bit, but there's no movement side to side whatsoever. That's just me moving the rifle. There is no movement there. I believe these sights also come on the Springfield, whatever their AR is. I think that they run these sights on there, and they are very, very good sights. I don't know how much more endorsement I can give them. These are pretty much going to be my go-tos for backup iron sights. Solid lockup, well made, nice finish on them. They don't look cheap. There's nothing wrong with like the Magpul polymer backup sights. Perfectly fine. They're lightweight. If you got to put it on a rifle to save weight, whatever the case may be, most people's logic is, hey, I'm probably never going to use these. It's not that big of a deal. These, though, are so slimlined and so well made for the price, you just can't go wrong. I'll get back to the country of origin. So these are not made in the U.S. However, these are made in Taiwan. Now, if you know anything about manufacturing, especially if you're into tools like automotive tools or anything, there is a big difference between things made in mainland China and Taiwan. Taiwan manufacturing is very up to date. Overall, obviously, different manufacturers can vary, but overall, as a whole, products made in Taiwan are leaps and bounds better than what you will find on most products in mainland China. Of course, this is all subjective. Obviously, there can be things that are very well made in China, any country for that matter. It's more down to the actual manufacturer and whatnot. However, overall, and this goes for hand tools as well, so if you are into hand tools, anything like that, your ratchets, stuff like that, this gear wrench is made in Taiwan. It's the quality difference is noticeably better than things that are made typically in mainland China. So keep that in mind. I'm a big fan of these, and I'm probably going to be running these on most of my builds from here on out when I need a set of backup iron sights. I can't recommend them enough. To fold them down, you just push on this little spring here, and then they clip down like that, flip down like that. So, and when they're down, they're locked. There's no, they're not going to pop up. They're not spring loaded, which I actually do like. I like to, there's a definite, as you can see here, there's an actual place where it sits, it locks in. There's ball bearings in there, detents, locks into place, nice and solid. Highly recommend these sights. So I may put a link to these in the description, and if you they're on Amazon. That's the place most people are gonna go to get them. UTG seems to make affordable but relatively good quality things. So do not hesitate to recommend these if you're looking for backup iron sights and you're like, man, I really don't want to spend $150 for a good set of aluminum metal flip up iron sights. I would definitely look at these are very good, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So anyway, That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.